Critical grain meeting in Sochi. Statement from Erdogan-Putin. President Erdogan's 3-hour meeting with Russian President Putin in Sochi has come to an end. After the meeting, the two leaders made a joint statement in front of the cameras. Putin said that the Qatari-funded project could start in 2 or 3 weeks to send Russian grain to Africa via Turkey. On the first day of the new week, the Russian city of Sochi hosted a critical summit. President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan met with Russian President Vladimir Putin after the bilateral meeting that lasted for 3 hours. Erdogan and Putin held a joint press statement. Highlights from President Erdogan's statements. We are taking firm steps forward to our target of $100 billion in bilateral trade volume in the first 7 months of this year. 3.5 million Russian tourists came to our country. One of the issues we focused on was the revitalization of the Black Sea Initiative. Alternative proposals brought to the agenda could not offer a permanent model such as Black Sea cooperation. Russia's expectations are known to all parties. We have also expressed and are expressing the issues raised by our Russian friends with different words. In this context, we have prepared a new proposal package for the United Nations. I hope that the new work of the UN will bring results. The winner of war is not the loser of peace. We have previously hosted direct negotiations between the parties. We are ready to do our part again in this regard. We discussed regional and global issues with Mr. Putin. We evaluated the issues related to Syria, Caucasus, Libya and Africa. Our close contact with Russia will continue to contribute to the resolution of regional and global issues. Akkuyu nuclear power plant is marching with its last violence. We discussed the issue of a second nuclear power plant in Sinop with my dear friend Putin today. Ukraine needs to soften its approach. If 44% of the grain from Ukraine goes to European countries, naturally Russia does not look at it positively. In today's meeting, Mr. Putin said that they are ready to send 1 million tons of grain to African countries in need. We can turn this grain into flour as fabrication and send it to African countries. Putin, Russian grain will go to Africa through Turkey. Vladimir Putin said, we evaluated global and regional issues. Our trade volume has reached $62 billion. The share of dollars and euros in trade between us is constantly decreasing. Our Rosatom company continues the construction of the Akkuyu nuclear power plant. Thousands of people are working so that the first unit will power up next year. Our cooperation in the field of energy is strategic quality. We will continue to deliver cheap fuel to the Turkish economy. Gazprom shared with Batov the roadmap for the establishment of a natural gas distribution area. Today, we talked about the end of the Black Sea Initiative. The West compelled us to do it. The West prevents the export of Russian agricultural and fertilizer products. We, the Ukrainian side, are humanitarian. We say that it uses its corridors to carry out terrorist attacks. Ukraine's share of world food exports will decrease by 5% in the future. 70% of the food sent went to developed countries. Poor countries in need received less than 3%. Sanctions on Russian products should be lifted. We are working on sending 1 million tons of grain from Russia to Africa at a preferential price through Turkey with Qatari financing, he said. Highlights from the statements of Russian President Putin. The points reached by the efforts of Mr. Erdogan have been thrown away by Ukraine. We have never rejected attempts at mediation. There are also mediation initiatives from China and African countries. We joined the grain agreement because, through Mr. Erdogan, we ratified a number of agreements in favor of the Russian side at the UN. Promises made to the Russian side were not fulfilled. We were asked to extend it. We extended it 3 times. They cheated on us. We say it openly. At the moment, we say that we are not against the agreement. We will return to the agreement if the promises made to us are fulfilled. These humanitarian corridors were used for military purposes by the other side. Turkish Stream and Blue Stream were attacked. UAVs and SIHA letters departing from Ukraine's Black Sea ports are attacking ships. Explanation from the Kremlin. Kremlin spokesperson Peskov stated that the meeting of the two leaders was constructive. On the other hand, Peskov also stated that no agreement is expected to be signed after Erdogan and Putin's meeting.